professionals thrive in their demanding personal and professional lives by taking control of their health and fitness. I'm your host, Victor Fernandez. Thanks for joining me as you do each and every week. I truly do appreciate it. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. But whether you're new or you've been following for a while, make sure to subscribe to the show and share it far and wide, because many more people need to learn that fitness is our business. And speaking of fitness and a lot of other things, I might add, my next guest is the epitome of health and fitness, not simply for himself, but for the thousands of people he has helped get leaner, stronger, and more energized through tried and true principles that prioritize simplicity, consistency, and biology over willpower. He's a coach, he's a systems builder, and he's also founder of Million Dollar Body Labs. At the center of his work lies the idea that health is infrastructure. When energy, sleep, strength, and metabolic health are all dialed in, everything else improves. Your decision-making, your mood, your patience, focus, leadership, longevity, all of it. And he's also the author of the best-selling book, The Million Dollar Body Method, and the host of the Get Leaner and Live Longer podcast, as well as a husband, a dad, and someone who's deeply suspicious, I'm going to ask him more about this, of anyone who claims the answer is more discipline instead of better systems. In other words, we got a lot to unpack today, so I'm going to bring him onto the show now. So please welcome to the show, Nate Palmer. Nate, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks, Victor. I appreciate you having me on. I forgot what I had written in that, so I thought you might have said like deeply suspicious of birds, because like that I've been on that kick recently. I was like, I don't remember that, but like let's go there.
I knew I should have asked you to update your questionnaire to talk more about birds, because that's what I want to talk about today.
Birds are a government psyop. You know how you avoid that? Like they're just pigeons are fake, man. The government uses them to track our movements. The only way you can avoid getting tracked by the government, getting 10,000 steps per day, throws off the tracking protocols.
There you go. That's another reason for me to get my 10K steps in every. I didn't think about that one, but that just adds more motivation into the mix.
I feel like we're through the kind of where we're at, like on the internet. I'm just going to lean into conspiracy theories and use them as a way of helping my clients to get more fitness tips, or like start utilizing my fitness tips, because I keep being like, you got to make sure you wake up and drink water. But I'm like, Bill Gates is poisoning you with mRNA. And the only way that you're going to be able to get past that is 8 to 12 glasses of clear drinking water every single day. People are like, that's it. That's what I needed to hear.
Folks, this is the
they're putting microplastics in your balls, Victor. Only thing that we can do about that, get to the sauna 30 minutes a day for longevity. Get the microplastics out of your balls.
You can see already, folks, where this show is headed and what direction
it's not good.
Headed. So
it's getting weird. It's going to get weirder before it gets better.
Hang on for the ride is all I have to say. So we'll touch on a lot of different things in this episode, but I want to touch on that last part that I talked about. Someone who's deeply suspicious of anyone who claims the answer is more discipline instead of better systems, because we always hear about discipline over motivation. We don't need motivation because we need to be disciplined. So talk about where this goes even further when you're talking about putting better systems in place that are going to help really maximize everything people bring to the table.
Well, I think that a lot of times when you look at certain programs that get a lot of like accolades, and I think about something like a 75 Hard, Orange Theory Fitness, all these things that are promoting like just show up, do the work, be disciplined, 2 workouts per day, track your macros, do all these things. But at the end of the day, like we always degrade ourselves to the level of our identity, who we believe we are. And so if our discipline is great for 6 weeks throughout a program, we do a 21-day cleanse, we do whatever, but we don't have anything built off in our life that is going to enable us to keep these habits going long-term, they inevitably fall apart. And it's almost to our detriment, because if you lose 20 pounds and you gain it right back, you would have been better off just not losing the weight at all. Your metabolic processes are not going to like change. You're not going to give your body this big shock. Like just don't lose the weight. But if you're going to lose the weight, you have to be able to keep it off. And the only way we're going to be able to keep it off by having systems that are implemented into our life that make sense for us. So that's why I'm always trying to help my clients get into what I call batch prep versus meal prep, or like, something like that, rather than eating, carrots and asparagus and tilapia 6 days per week and then being sick of it by week 2 and then not wanting to do that ever again. I have people cook 2 or 3 times per week and they use that same meat protein that they prep in bulk to turn into like, we'll do chicken and potatoes one night. We'll turn into chicken tikka masala the second night and turn into chicken tacos the third night. 3 different meals, one prep. The last 2 meals take you about 10 minutes to make. Good for the whole family because your kids don't want to eat 4-day-old chicken and tilapia. They just don't. They're not into it. So I always feel like we fall to the level of our systems and identity. And I think there's a couple different ways you can change your identity and change your systems. And they do go through discipline. Discipline is a part of it. So I'm like, I don't want to oversell that and be like, yeah, you don't need discipline, just vibes, baby. Let's go. But if you are able to create small habits that you can do long term, that's why I like little things like waking up and having 24 ounces of water, which is one of the things that I preach in my book. I always think it's funny. I talk to people all the time. They're like, I read your book. You know what I always do is I drink water. And I'm like, if that's what I'm known for, if I'm known for helping you drink water in the morning, then I guess like my work here is finished. That's good enough. But I have people drink 24 ounces of water in the morning, and then I have them do like 60 seconds of some sort of exercise, jumping jacks, push-ups, something like that. It's very simple. It's very repeatable. And doing it in the morning creates a psychological trigger that shows you that you're a healthy person. I used to be like, supplements not necessary, whatever. But I love supplements because every time you take a supplement, you're reinforcing to yourself who you are becoming. I'm a person that takes supplements. I am not a person who eats cheeseburgers and pizza because I took all those supplements this morning. I prioritize my health. I prioritize my energy. And I think those behaviors done over time can create this long-term identity shift versus there's another way to change your identity and it's worse most of the time. Most of the time you go to the doctor and it's like, you got cancer. You have diabetes now. Like you better fix this or you will die. Like you have that gut punch moment, or maybe it's the positive side of things where you go into a restaurant, you order a salad and Margot Robbie comes in. She's like, oh my God, I love that salad. You're such a salad guy. We're best friends. And you're like, I am such a salad guy. And so like, it's like, you can't really engineer the Margot Robbie moment. And hopefully you don't want to engineer the cancer moment, but we can engineer those little moments that we do consistently over time to create this shift in identity long-term.
I know for like from my perspective, from my clients, what a lot of them end up doing, because I want to keep it as simple as humanly possible, is like you said, drink water to start the day, but do some stretching. Just a few minutes in the morning, and when they first get up, it gives, like you said, the same belief that I've accomplished something. Much like the old adage of making your bed. You feel like you've accomplished something, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's not a very big thing that you're doing. So talk about it seems to me like there's kind of a double, I don't want to call it double-edged sword. It's actually, two sides to this, where it's the energy that you're providing, which I can obviously see it comes through in your passion, but also the simplicity of it all to make people realize it really doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah. Are you talking about like in terms of like my methodology and the way I kind of talk about
Yes,
things?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have the ego to say that like, this is the best way to do things. This is the best way that I've found to do things. Seems to work really well for like high performers and people who are really busy and people who don't necessarily prioritize fitness as their number one thing. Because like at the end of the day, I'm inherently lazy and I've been trying to figure out the easiest, fastest, most simple way to do things and keep my health in check so I could pursue the things that I love in life outside of just, dumbbell bench press, which is, like top 3 for me. But I think that creating those simple little routines, the things that you could just do automatically, that just become a part of your daily rituals and how you see yourself, super important. So like for me, I don't drink soda. I don't drink a lot of stuff with calories in it, aside from like, you know, the occasional vodka soda, which is not necessarily a drink. That's more of a business transaction. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
But
write-off. It counts.
yeah, it's a write-off for my liver. But like when I go out, I just don't drink soda. Like that's not even something that occurs to me. It doesn't even show up. And it's not a big thing. I'm not making this big sacrifice or saying that I'm like, better than people who drink soda. But that's like one thing that is just a non-negotiable thing that I always do all the time. That makes a big difference. It goes a long way. I don't drink stuff with calories in it. It just makes life way easier. I don't drink a single beer, which leads to bad decisions sometimes. But honestly, that keeps me from drinking like most days. And so I'll drink like once a month, once every 2 months, and like go out, have a good time, be with friends, do something social. But I'm not having a glass of wine with dinner. I don't, I tell people I don't do drugs and eat at the same time. So I don't drink coffee and eat food. I don't drink alcohol and eat food. I try not to mix things like that because I just like it. If you want to get real technical with it, which you didn't ask, but we'll do it. When you
Go
drink
for it.
alcohol, what it does is it's a toxin, and it puts your body into a metabolic state of duress until your body can process out the toxin. It takes all those other calories that you're absorbing in the beer, in the nachos, in the whatever, and just puts them into storage until later. It's like, all right, let's deal with the toxin first. But if you want to drink, and a lot of my clients have happy hours because they go out with clients or whatever else, they want to be able to live their life. They're not obsessed with having a six pack. So great. How do you drink without messing your fitness journey up? Drink in the afternoon. Have a healthy meal beforehand. Wait at least 2 hours. Have a few drinks. No food. Wait another hour, and then be done drinking. That's when you eat your food. Drink a lot of water, electrolytes before bed. You can have a good time. You can enjoy yourself, but you're also not putting your body in a place where it's now being poisoned and gaining fat rapidly. So just like simple little rules like that, that when you do over time, they don't become a big deal. They kind of become a part of your personality. And I always encourage my clients to pick one really weird rule, something that's like just something strange, something intense, something that their family is not going to like, and just make that a part of their personality. Whether that's like, I don't drink soda, period, or like I don't eat candy, like something like that. Just like be like, that's my thing. I don't do those things. And I feel like that when you put that, like you put the line in the sand there, people start viewing you differently. It's always easier to be 100% than it is to be 99%. I'd rather be in zero, like no candy, than I eat candy occasionally, maybe on Halloween, because the king of rationalization. I know enough about nutrition that I can rationalize eating Sour Patch Kids. It's not a problem for me. It's pre-workout. I'm gonna increase my glycogen stores so I can hit a bigger bench. I can do that. I do that shit all the time.
I
That's
like that.
that's
I'm going to use that.
yeah, you should. Yeah. Yeah, just wait. Yeah. But if you give yourself, like if I give myself an inch, I'm gonna take a mile every time.
Mhm.
So I gotta be a little bit more structured with how I approach these sorts of things, put a lot of guardrails in place, establish the systems that make it easy for me. And I think my clients a lot of the time vibe with that mentality.
Well, I guess take me back to the beginning of your health and fitness career specifically. Where did this approach, this simplicity, this just straightforward, this is how it needs to be, at least for you and for your clients. Where did that begin? How did it evolve?
Well, when I first started, I was into all the things, like I was obsessed with fitness, and I thought everyone else should be obsessed with fitness too. So I was not a good coach. I was beating the shit out of my clients too. I was like, if you're not like limping out of the gym, you didn't work out, like leg day every day. It was crazy. It was a bloodbath. Not my proudest moment, but I've had like 17 years to recover from that. And hopefully my clients have forgiven me from all of the dubstep I made them listen to back in 2008 and nine. But the first few years of my fitness journey were not this way at all. They were a lot more hardcore, a lot more intense as, like, 22-year-old, 25-year-old trainer. It wasn't until I started working at a gym in Seattle with a lot of entrepreneurs, startup people who are working in tech, working 78 hours a week, and like need to be sharp for their job, don't have time to prep their food, don't have time to like do bulk, don't have time to sit down and eat. A lot of the times they're just running, they're between things, they're putting out fires all the time. And so it kind of came to this like point where like people were like, yeah, great, this is great, fitness is great, but how do I stay energized all day? Like, how do I eat in a way that's not going to make me tired, stressed out, or want to lay down on the couch and fall asleep at 3 o'clock? So that's when I really took a deep dive into nutrition and started looking at how do the carbs, calories, macronutrients interact in the body. Like, how do we make sure that your body has the energy it needs? How do we make sure that you're not having blood sugar spikes and then slumps? And what it led me to was something that I've called glycogen priming or reverse carb backloading, which is basically like the idea is, we use carbs for energy, right? In our muscles and our liver. Our muscles hold about 11 grams of carbs per pound. Our liver holds about 110 grams of carbs or glucose. And throughout the day, when we're talking, podcasting, working out, walking around, doing things, we're burning through muscle glycogen. And at the end of the day, we have a dearth of muscle glycogen, especially if we haven't eaten a bunch of carbs, right? And anyone who's ever had a Chipotle burrito for lunch knows the feeling of finishing that burrito and being like, I could go for a quick nap under my desk right now. And so we know that when we have this big influx of carbohydrates or starchy foods, our blood sugar goes up, our insulin goes up, and we slow down. Our digestive process slows us down. It pulls blood from our extremities and from our brain to process food. So, on the flip side of that, if we can eat a little bit lighter during the day, prioritize proteins and fats in the morning,
Mhm.
proteins and veggies or a low glycemic piece of fruit in the afternoon, and then have the majority of our carbohydrates in the PM after we've burned through a lot of the muscle glycogen, what's going to happen is we're going to train our body to take the carbohydrates, the glycogen, and replace the muscle glycogen that we burned off. So rather than carbs now going and being stored in fat cells real easily or being like saved for later, they're being literally used to replace what you burned off throughout the day. So now you're training your body that I burn stuff off, you replace it. I burn stuff off, you replace it. So now we're never having this like lingering like high blood sugar. We're never having these big spikes in blood sugar during the day when it's important. And when we do have our bigger calorie or bigger carbohydrate load at night, you experience that Chipotle effect. You get a little bit tired, but that's perfect because what do we want to do at night? Relax and rewind, right? Rewind, be kind. That's a time when we're like trying to like turn down. So that's why I'm encouraging people to like have their bigger meal, drink some water with electrolytes, put their phone away, get the blue lights out of their eyes, and actually allow themselves to have like the natural circadian rhythm that is going to keep you energized during the day, sleep well at night, and then wake up rested and refreshed, ready to do it again.
That's awesome. I know for me, one of the reasons I do what I do is for my family. And I know you've talked about, you're a proud dad, proud family man, proud husband. Talk about being in that position. Because I know prior to all this and back in my younger adult days when I was overweight, unhealthy, wasn't the husband, the dad I wanted to be, all those things, it was because I wasn't taking care of myself. And now the flip side is true. So talk about the importance of not just for your clients, but for the most important people in your life, providing that foundation that you have of just everything that you need to do to be a healthy human being now and in the future.
Well, first of all, did you know that children's health is largely related to their dad's health at time of conception? Yeah, like your sperm
Mm.
quality can rapidly increase just the more fit and in shape you are. And I feel like, as the dad, I'm involved in like a very, very small part of the whole like human growing process, right? So the least I can do is like give my best in that way by being in good shape, by being a healthy individual. I think that's a small price for me to pay to set my kids up for success, to set my wife up for a healthier pregnancy, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Then, like getting like now I got kids, my kids are 5 and 8. And I don't know about your kids, but mine listen to me sometimes. Not often, but like sometimes, but they're always watching. They're always looking,
Mhm.
they're always seeing what you're doing. And so when my kids catch me doing breath work, meditating, reading, lifting weights, doing cardio, loving on their mom, that sort of thing, they start to see that not only as normal, but as like a behavior worth emulating. If they saw me sitting on the couch, scrolling my phone, which I do too much of, like eating Cheetos, talking shit about the neighbors, like they're going to see that as behavior worth emulating and they're going to do what they see. So it's really important to me to not only be healthy, to have energy, to show up big for the kids and be fully present and locked in those moments, which absolutely a work in progress for me. I'm not where I'd like to be in terms of that. The phone is a big stumbling block at the moment,
Mhm.
but also just to be able to set the standard for the family in terms of what is important and what do Palmers do and how do we conduct ourselves and like what is the language that we use and how do we treat people with respect and kindness and how do we treat our bodies with respect and kindness. And now like I've been doing this thing every Saturday since 2000 or since 2020 that I call Savage Saturday. It started with me and a buddy, and then I was like there's probably like 20 of us that like 8 people will show up every week, and we just work out in my garage 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. every single Saturday. We don't miss. And now my daughter's like coming out like and doing the workout with us. She's like, well, tell me what to do. I'm like, all right, do a plank. She's like, what's next? And that's just how she shows up with like 8 dudes grunting and sweating. We'll listen to Lil Wayne in the garage, and she's like, where are my weights at? And that's normal for her. She's growing up in a household where that is just completely normal. She watches her mom lift weights. Her and her little brother like out there in the garage lifting weights. She's like, "Can we play on the rings?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, great. That sounds fantastic. but I just like one of the best gifts I can give to my family is like like the stability that I get from being able to take care of myself. Like if I'm solid, if I'm locked in, if my physical and mental health are dialed in, I can just show up as a much more positive example to the family. Like I want to them to not have to guess who I am walking into the door after work every day. I want them to know like dad's solid, dad's always the same, dad's got it. And then I also want them to see like, yeah, fitness, that's not a weird thing. That's not like a fringe thing. That's just what we do. We keep our bodies healthy and strong. We prioritize eating foods that are going to keep us feeling good, having energy, moving around a lot, and we play hard. And I feel like if I can set the standard in that way, then that's a massive win for me.
Oh, 100%. And I always tell people there's one wall separating my garage gym from my 15-year-old son's room.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose. So when he's laying in bed on a Saturday morning and doesn't want to get up, and I'm clanging and banging, dropping weights, lifting, picking things up, putting things down, he may not sleep. He's definitely not going to sleep, but eventually he's going to get up and he's going to come join me. Actually just picked up a new freestanding bag to work on our karate, because we're actually training karate together, dad and son, which has been a whole lot of fun.
Very
And
cool.
it makes a huge difference. And you're absolutely right. My kids are older. I've got a 29-year-old who's going to get married next October. I've got a 26-year-old who's a firefighter, and I've got my 15-year-old. So mine are a little bit older than yours, but same thing. Do they listen? I think more now than maybe when they were a little younger. But do they watch? Absolutely. And there's no doubt. Even if you don't think they are, they are. So 100% in agreement with you on that one. Talk to me about Million Dollar Body Labs. We're going to segue to that. What is it, so people understand exactly what it is? How did it come to fruition, and what does it do for people?
Million Dollar Body Labs is my supplement company. So created that back in 2021 after just like getting burned a couple times with different supplements that I'd recommend to hear from a friend, like start taking, like recommend to a client. And then like there's something would come out in the news about how like there was such and such a compound found in it, or there wasn't the active ingredient, or I would do some of my own like research and be like, oh, like AG1, like they started off with one blend and then they sold this super high price point, and then they switched up the blend on everybody once people had these subscriptions in place. So like there's a lot of like shadiness in that industry. And like I said before, like I've always been meh on supplements. But what I found is that when I like, and people would be like, what creatine should I take? What kind of protein should I take? And I was like, not important. It's not important. It's not important. Just eat whole foods. Just do these things. But what I found is that people who were taking supplements on a regular basis were always getting better results. And it didn't matter if they were taking like creatine or like amino acids or protein or whatever else, just the additional ability of them to get more nutrients, better nutrition, better recovery, and also create that identity shift, it seemed to make a massive difference. So my goal with Million Dollar Body Labs was to put together supplements that I want to take, and then also make sure that I'm providing like a very clean product that passes all the tests. I pay a lot of extra money to get all my stuff third party tested, just because like I'm not putting all the stuff in the bottles myself. I'm not seeing what's going on. So every month, all of my stuff gets tested by a third party, and I get like certificates of authenticity on
Mm.
like product quality and making sure that everything that I say is in it is actually going into it. And that's important to me. I just feel like it's a really shady industry. And like I want people who are, trusting me with their like to help them with their health and fitness to know that what they're getting is the real thing. So just want to put stuff together that I like, that I take, like people are always asking me like, what's the best pre-workout? And I'm like, you don't need a pre-workout. You could take honey and salt for all I care. But I love taking pre-workout. So I made a stim-free pre-workout that is super awesome. Doesn't have any like caffeine in it. So nothing that's going to like vasoconstrict, and it tastes great. And I feel like I get just like the craziest pump. I love taking it. It's super fun. I take it at like 4 PM. So it doesn't keep me up or anything like that. So like, I like things like that. I created a product called Fast Aid. It's an amino acid compound that you can take while you're fasting that doesn't raise your blood sugar, so it doesn't break your fast. I've been big into fasting. I have my clients doing all that. A lot of them are doing 48-hour fasts on a pretty regular basis because it's super simple way to drop pounds without necessarily having to track macros. But they're getting hungry, they're getting tired, their workouts were suffering. So I created this product, found this form of leucine, this raw leucine, And had to like work it into the product. Ended up smelling like, I'm not gonna lie, it smelled like feet. It wasn't very good. So I had to like I had to work the formula. So I only offer in lemon lime because it's the only flavor I could get to actually like be not gnarly. But it's awesome. It's so good. If you ever fasted, you take this stuff and you're like, this is a cheat code. This is like an absolute hack. So like it's stuff like that. Plus, I just love messing around with like new ingredients, trying different things out, like putting Tongat Ali in like a new product, testing my testosterone before and after. I love to like the little experiments. So this is stuff that I would do anyways. It's just fun to be able to actually bring it to market as well. And I like sending marketing emails. That's really fun for me. I got a BOGO going on right now. I don't know when this episode's going to air, but like, but it's not a BOGO because my business partner is like, you can't have a BOGO. And I was like, why not? He's like, because we'll lose money. And I was like, well, like, what can we do? And he's like, we can do a buy one, get one 50% off. And I was like, not good enough. So we're doing a buy one, get one 75% off. So it's a BOGO Safo.
BOGO-ish.
BOGO Safo. Yeah.
BOGO Safo. There you go.
Yeah, but that doesn't really roll off the tongue. So, but I'm like super transparent, even in my emails. I'm like, here's what's happening. Tyler said I couldn't do it. I'm doing it anyways.
Well, transparency is king. People want to know exactly what's going on. And
yeah,
and if you can have fun with it too.
That's the thing is like, I like that side. Like I like being like, here's what you see is what you get. Like what you're seeing on this podcast is what my kids get at home. It's what my clients got in the gym earlier. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to have to put on any sort of like buttoned up type personality or be someone I'm not. This is just more fun and authentic in my opinion.
100%. I definitely appreciate that. This is definitely one of my more livelier episodes. I will certainly say that, and that's a good thing. And that's a very good thing. Also wanted to get to your best-selling book, The $1 Million Body Method.
Okay, yeah.
Just talk a little bit about that, where they can get it, what it's about, what was the inspiration behind it.
Yeah. So this is a book that I basically put together based off of a lot of the stuff I was talking about earlier, kind of the idea about energy first, fat loss, making sure that your body feels good. You have like superhuman focus in the mornings to do all the things, but you also will be able to lose fat quickly. And I was just like, I want to put this together because I think this philosophy is killer and it's simple and it doesn't cost anything. So like in case my philosophy changes or I start doing, now I'm a CrossFit guy. I'm not a CrossFit guy, but if in case I, change up, I wanted to put this all down so someone could pick up a book without having ever met me or know anything about me, pick up this book, do the program at the end of the book. So I put together a 28-day program that you could just do. You could do it for life, I guess, and then start testing it out themselves and get results. Like that's what I wanted. Just like a standalone thing. That's like everything you got to know about nutrition as someone who wants to be a high performer. Here it is. Boom. But then also I love writing. And so like the process of putting together a book for me was really good. I had this like, I don't want to call it a vision, but like I had dreamt about writing a book that was matte black with gold lettering. In my mind, it also had like the gold pages on the outside, like the Bible. This mine doesn't have that. But so I got to write this book that was kind of like the book of my dreams. It was super fun. I had a great time with the process. And then I hear from people all the time. They're like, this has changed the way I approach nutrition. It's made my life just way easier. And that's really what I wanted to do. Just make people's lives easier. Like, I think that there's this quote I really like. It's by a French philosopher, I think, named Gustave Flaubert. He says, be boring and orderly in your life so that you may be violent and creative in your work. And that's how I think about the fitness and nutrition. This shit's boring. Let it be boring. Eat the same meals all the time. Like, let this be the boring part of your life so that you can have a lot of fun doing the things that actually matter. Fitness is fine, but the best part about being in shape is you don't got to think about it anymore. There's a lot of mental energy that goes wasted because people are just obsessed over like, how do I look? Did I drop? How's it going? Should I lose? Should I run to the cardio? And like, they spend a lot of time thinking about that. Not to mention that like the voice in the back of their head that's like, you're not good enough. You'd be more valuable if you were prettier. Like that shit that's going on all the time. Mm-hmm. So if we can just eliminate some of that, give people back the energy to be better at their jobs, better as a parent, better in their relationships. That's a massive win. So anyways, you want to get the book? It's on Amazon and Audible. My friend Jason narrated it. He's awesome. And then if you want it for free, you can have it for free too. I don't give a shit. You can go to getnatesbook.com and I'll just send you an ebook or a PDF copy. So
there you go. Simple as that, folks. And obviously, if you haven't, and I know I teased it in the intro, but if you haven't figured it out, obviously he's got a voice for podcasts and he's got an energy for podcasts as well, which takes me to the Get Leaner and Live Longer podcast. Talk a little bit about that.
All right, Victor, I'll talk about it because I'm actually in a weird spot with that right now. We are like 700 episodes deep. We release like an
Wow.
episode every single week for like 6 years or something like that. It's a top 1% podcast, whatever that means. There's like 30 million podcasts. I think I'm like top 300,000. So it's not like actually good, but like,
It's still good.
I'm like burnt out on it. I don't know what to talk about anymore. I feel like I've been alternating between interview style episodes and solo episodes now for the past like 2 years. And like, I get to the solo episodes, which are generally like 15 minutes long. I'm trying to like break down one little problem and trying to help people out with it. And I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. Walking again, drinking more water. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like I'm like legitimately kind of at a crossroads where I don't know exactly how I want the episodes to go moving forward. I feel like I've got a really good bank of stuff. I'm always referring people back to previous episodes, previous guests, because I think I have some like really good solutions. You hurt yourself. Here's the episode that I talk about dealing with recovery. You want to lose belly fat. Here's that episode. You want to sleep better. Here are those episodes. But like, I don't know what to do next. What do you think?
I mean, I like that idea. I mean, for me, I'll be honest with you. I've been off and on, burnt out on mine. Mine hasn't been on the air as long as yours. It's been about 3-4 years, I want to say, and I'm probably right around episode, I don't know, 150 ish. I haven't gone back.
That's substantial. Most people don't get past episode 18.
Well, very true, very true. I haven't gone back to count, and there's been multiple iterations of it, multiple names, and multiple ideas and motivations behind it, and finally settled on this because this is my niche. Business owners, entrepreneurs. But I mean, I like, to be honest, some of my best episodes are ones when I hit the record button without really knowing what I was going to talk about in that episode, and I just started talking. I do that a lot when I have like public speaking engagements, where I try not to be too scripted because I want to just go in and run my mouth. Simple as that. And wherever it goes, where it happens to go, and some finish better than others, but and some run off on tangents and don't ever come back from them. But others actually turn out pretty good. So I mean, obviously, I think you've got a personality to really just kind of wing it sometimes and just have some fun with it. I mean,
maybe
you like that.
Maybe I'll
fun,
try
right?
that. Just just press play and not have any idea where I'm going.
You don't. I mean, you can record it. You don't have to. That's actually fair, yeah. Publish it.
So I mean, go back and be like, not this one.
It could hit the cutting room floor, and no one else besides you, maybe me, would know. So I think you're okay there. But I like doing that every once in a while when I feel like I'm burned out on it.
All right. I was thinking it'd be really fun to have like a co-host who's not into fitness at all. Just like somebody random just to talk to who doesn't even know like what I'm talking about. I think that would be hilarious. Like almost armchair expert type of situation.
Well, you get a lot of work at, trying to deal with objections.
Yeah,
that's entirely what you would get every single time.
It'd be funny to be like, hey, I'm going live on a podcast. Here's my link. First person on is on the podcast. That'd be and then just record with a random stranger every time.
I sort of had that conversation, not on air, yesterday, as a matter of fact, with a potential client who told me she's not ready to start just yet, maybe in the spring, because she has a puppy to get home to. So yeah,
she's gonna be a good client. I can tell already.
And well, to be honest, I honestly do think so, because then we got on the she sent me a photo of her puppy, which in turn meant I had to send her a photo of my 2 dogs. She loves my 2 dogs, and well, they're here. They're the official mascots of Fernandez Fit. So if you really want to meet them, you got to come to the Vicnasium and hang out with me and get a workout in while you're there.
I love the Vicnasium. That's a great name.
It was not, I cannot take credit for it. One of my longest tenured clients dubbed it several years, 6-7 years ago, actually, in a completely different garage, in a completely different state. So, and it just kind of followed me here, and that's what everybody knows it by now.
Feels like you need like a neon sign with that written across it.
I haven't gotten that yet. That's not a bad idea. I do have a Victor's Gym sign that my sister got me for Christmas the year before last, but which is really cool. It's made out of wood. It's solid wood. It's awesome.
That's dope.
But yeah, I do need a Vicnasium sign. I definitely need, and I have friends of mine who could do it for me. It's even better.
Oh, perfect.
So where do you? I mean, obviously there's a lot going on. There's a lot that has gone on. Where do you see yourself moving forward? Where does Nate Palmer go from here?
Just GLP-1s.
There you go.
No, so I'm like pulling back on my online business a little bit. I've been a little bit like just not feeling good about being on the internet recently. I haven't been on Facebook in 6 weeks. It's been fantastic for my mental health. I am not taking online clients currently. I need like a little bit of a break. This is my 10th year in business, or I just wrapped my 10th year in business as an online personal trainer. I've been in fitness since 2008. So I'm taking a moment to like sit back, integrate some of the lessons that I've learned over the past few years and see what the next steps are for me. So right now I've got like 9 personal training clients. I teach 4 group classes twice a week at a gym, and I'm doing marketing for that same gym, like working on their online presence, building out their website, email marketing, that sort of thing. So that's been fun. It's occupying a lot of my time. And then I spend the rest of my time just hanging with the family. You know, I'm trying to get home by like 2 o'clock all the time to see my kids, pick them up from school, and just be available. Like, so I feel like I could take on more clients, but I want to be rich in like slow afternoons and bike rides with the kids. That's where I'm kind of currently headed. And so I don't know what the next steps are. I'm willing to actually sit down and think about it a little bit more rather than just rushing headlong into the next project, which has kind of been my MO. So I'm just chilling. I'm just feeling good, living the dream.
Well, nothing wrong with that, which to be honest, segues me right perfectly. I don't know if perfectly is quite the right word I'd use, perfectly into, obviously, if anybody who's listening wants to know more about Nate Palmer, what you do, who you are, get your book, all that good stuff like that, even though you may not be taking on, virtual clients at the moment, where can they find you?
You can go to milliondolarbodylabs.com. It's got a bunch of stuff on there. I got like a nutrient optimization assessment quiz. So like if you want to check out and see like what supplements do I need based off of my lifestyle, my goals, my habits, my like past history, I got something that's super awesome on there. You just go to freenutritionaudit.com and I'll set you up with like a whole like report based off of you and your body type. If you have your blood work, even better. You can also follow me on Instagram at _million-dollar-body. I've been posting mostly conspiracy theories, and I'm trying to do some stand-up recently. So there's that on there as well.
That's the usual segue from conspiracies to stand-up. It just flows freely.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Well, I have one final question for you. What do you have against birds?
Just that they're a fake construct by the government. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's a really funny conspiracy theory. I think that some people actually believe that, but like that birds aren't real. And I just think that's hilarious to say. The other conspiracy theory I really like is, have you ever seen your neighbor bring in their groceries?
I'm sure I have, yes.
Have you though? But think about it. Most people I talk to have never seen their neighbor bring in their groceries, which proves to me that we live in the Matrix. Thanks for killing my talk.
See, here I thought we were going to talk about, how many bags you can carry in from the trunk of your car at one time.
Do we need to talk about that? The answer is all of them, clearly.
All of them, clearly. Well, I guess it depends on how many there are in all of them.
No, it does not matter. This is why we train, Victor. This is the whole point. Is so you can walk in with 37 bags on your arm and be the neighborhood alpha dad. This is the only reason that we train.
Well, I tell people, I said, I witnessed one better. My family's homeland. We're from Portugal. We spent the month of June last year there, and I'd gone for a run near the house, and a lot of hills and valleys and all that. And I met a young man who had bags basically up and down his arms. And he wasn't taking them from the trunk of his car to the house. He was walking from the grocery store 1.5 miles away. And then about a half hour later, as I was starting to wrap up my run, he comes blazing past me like a bat out of hell on his run. So apparently carrying the groceries 1.5 miles from the store was merely his warm-up. No one will ever beat that. I don't care how many groceries we have.
That's impressive.
I mean, that will always top. I don't even attempt it because I'm not walking a mile and a half from the grocery store with a whole bunch of bags in my
Nice.
arms. But maybe I should try. So just to know how it feels. Anyway, that being said, I appreciate you coming on. This has been an awesome episode. A lot of energy, a lot of vibrancy. I love it. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun, Victor.
And once again, folks, obviously Nate Palmer, he's got his hands on a lot of things. He's got a lot of great information to share with you, and he shares it obviously in a fun way, which makes it a heck of a lot easier to digest, pun intended. So obviously, if you want to know more about him, check the show notes out. All that information is going to be there, all his accounts and where to find his book and all that. And of course, as always, folks, be like Nate Palmer. Go out, get the job done with your health and well-being. Obviously, it helps you in every way, both personally and professionally. Why? Because we know fitness is our business. Take care, everybody.